Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Sim Races Asia GTE Asia Pacific Series, coming to you live tonight at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit for round 2 of this great series. And as you can see folks, the track's empty at the moment, and they're busy preparing the grid. But I'd like to introduce to you our commentary team tonight. So basically we've got myself, Daniel Leet and Wee Han Chan in the room. So g'day guys, we're back here for another night.
Good evening Bernie, Wee, welcome viewers, everyone. It's looking like a fantastic night tonight. Quick times already in place from some of these drivers, so expecting very big things for the night ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, that's for sure, and we're going to be going over to the point score very shortly, folks, to have a look at exactly where we're at. But before we do that, let's have a look at, let's do the point score now, then we'll come back and we'll have a look at how qualifying went in this room. So looking at the race team championship at the moment, it's after round 1, it's being led by YLab Motorsport on 73 points, but they're only 1 point ahead of Proforce Racing. Then we've got Simfei Motorsports on 48 points, and they are only 1 point ahead of the 4th place team. That's Eurasia Simsport on 49. Then we've got BNK Racing in 5th, followed by Evolution Racing in 6th. Delta Simsport, they're sitting in 7th at the moment, with Mod STR Racing in 8th. Then 9th, Simar Garage Simsports, rounding out your top 10, Macau Sim Racing. So quite a mixed bag in there, guys.
Yeah, very mixed bag. We had 60 cars on the grid for the last round at Mosport, so good opening round for all drivers concerned and all the teams. So guess definitely looking forward to what tonight's going to hold with this split.
Yes, indeed. It does look like quite a very close championship points combination right there. Maybe the race today might change that order, but slightly because of the point differences, and we will see that tonight.
Yeah, we definitely will, and out of those teams, I guess the Australian team, the top Australian team, that's Proforce Racing. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. But what about what Asian team do you think we should keep an eye on, Wee Han?
Well, at this stage, I think we can keep our eyes on YLab Motorsport as well as Simfei, because they have been, from the first race, they have had some finishes that are quite remarkable, and those are what I think will come to play to this race today.
Yeah, and one surprise is Macau Sim Racing. They're down there in 10th, so they've only got 6 points, so no doubt they're going to be looking at trying to get a bounce back. And the other one in 13th, of course, is Stealth Sim Sport, so they're going to be looking at trying to capitalise on this race as well tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got some good results from some of the Aussie teams as well as definitely the Asian teams in YLab, but Proforce Racing are leading the way, as you mentioned, for the Aussie contingent. But I think going on what we're seeing in some of the qualifying times, there might be a few surprise teams looking to make their way up this ladder based on some of the qualifying results we've seen so far.
Yeah, definitely. In the first round, we had 62 cars in there, so there was quite a lot of carnage. So tonight, folks, it should be a bit easier. We're expecting around about 30 cars in the top split, and if they don't split, we're probably going to get 47 cars. So we'll see how they organise that shortly. Yeah,
definitely. And judging from what I've seen in the 2 sessions that we had for qualifying, we've only got 2 drivers that have actually managed to dip into the minute 47s around the Nürburgring tonight. So 2 guys definitely looking to try and extend and push their way out through this race. And the 2 that we've got up is Brad Watson, who's current points leader for the Drivers' Championship. He won last week at Mosport, but he was hassled pretty hard that entire race by Anthony Winkleman until he had an unfortunate system glitch. But Anthony's back again. He's up inside that minute 47 mark, and I guess he'll be pushing Brad very hard.
Yeah, and if we look at the Drivers' Championship, we do have Brad Watson from the Pro-Am class. He's on in position 1, 44 points. Ilham Halabi, Eurasia Sim Sports, is sitting in second on 39. Martin Silvassi, keep an eye on him, 34 points in third. Then we've got Indika Rama Molana from YLab Motorsport sitting down there in 31st, or 31 points. David Lord from Simfei Motorsports, he's actually sitting equal fifth with Matt Morris from Proforce Racing. And then, of course, we've got Sean Thompson, also Proforce Racing, in seventh. Eighth, Thomas Hinds in Proforce Racing. Brock Craig from Simfei Racing is sitting in ninth, and he's the first of the Clubman drivers. And then Jazreen Jali from YLab Motorsports on 18 points rounds out our top 10. So one thing I've noticed here, Daniel, is Proforce Racing. They have 3 drivers at the moment in the top 10.
Yeah, they've been very strong the last couple of seasons. We noticed last year with Ross Rizzo, I believe it was, behind the wheel there. He was up quite high in the points. I think he actually took out one of the championships last season in the Radical. So they've definitely got a good depth. Maybe finding a little different, adapting to this Ford Ferrari GTE combo, but look for them definitely to be making headway up through the rest of this season.
Oh, definitely, and of course YLab, they have 2 in the top 10. So it's interesting when you see the drivers' points. That explains why these guys are sort of, the teams are where they're at, because it looks like all their drivers are contributing to that team point score.
Yeah, definitely, and we've noticed a fair trend. If you can manage to get yourself 5 or 6 drivers in this championship, be it in Clubman or Pro-Am, all those points accumulate and you can find yourself in a very good position. Last year we noticed, I think it was Laser Racing took out the team's championship based on that consistency.
Yeah, exactly right, and it is that consistency that they're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of that comes down to the drivers obviously going to want to go for individual wins, but there is also the grand picture of a team's championship, and if you can manage to get you guys taking that top title as well as the teams, you've had an outstanding season.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's exactly what they're going to be looking at. Now, earlier on today, Weehan, I understand you met up with one of the drivers to discuss this circuit and basically get a hot lap.
Yep, I've managed to sort of get in touch with Kevin to provide us with sort of hot lap video of the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, and I think he's done quite a nice lap, and we'd like to refer to it.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's cut across to that video, folks, and we'll have a look at Kevin here in action and enjoy this.
Walk you guys through a lap of the Nürburgring Grand Prix no chicane. This is the track we're doing this week. Pretty long front straight. We brake about at the little bit before the 100. Brake hard, keep straight, and then I turn in late. Let off brakes. Make sure you let off brakes or you're gonna spin there. Take a wide entry here. Do the second gear. Touch the curbing. Try to touch the outside and make it. Another wide entry. This is first gear actually. Make sure you ride the curb here. There's plenty of track out on the left side. Use it all. Small straight. Carry as much speed through here as you can. Brake here, second gear. The straight line I take, I don't know if that's correct. Track, make sure you use all of the track out there. The next corner is pretty important. This is a like a hairpin, I guess. Fast, straight braking. Somewhat of a tiny bit of a double apex. On the second apex, you can pretty much get on a throttle really early. Take all of the track here. I usually sometimes touch the curbing on the left. but I use all the track. But you can't get on the sand, on the right hand side, or you get a penalty. Brake before the 100 here. I usually try to use more of the left side curve, but I missed it there. This corner is critical. I don't really know the correct line. I think this is as close as I got. Long straight here, nothing to do. Full throttle. We're hitting like 240 something at the end. I brake right before the 50. Make sure you get all of the curb and more over there to get carried most speed through there. And then last corner is kind of a hairpin also. Get this corner right. Don't get on the grass or else you get the penalty. Not penalty, but the off track. And that was a quick lap of the Nürburgring. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoy the race today. It's a really, really tough track. Lots of off-camber turns, a lot of blind turns. Feel bad for some of you guys with the single monitors. But somewhat enjoyable after a lot of practice. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
So that was quite an interesting hot lap there by Kevin Huang. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight, folks, on exactly what's going on tonight in the drivers' heads. As you can see, the server's just loading. We'll be back up and running very shortly. So, Daniel, have you done much driving around the Nürburgring?
Managed to get a little bit of time in over the last couple of days. It's an interesting car to set up. Obviously, most of my driving was done in the Ferrari, so it was a little bit interesting to sort of get an understanding for how to set that car up. But for some of the guys that we're seeing, like Anthony and Brad, I think they've really started to nail the setup in these cars and the way that they've got to be driven, which is completely different to what we used to do with the GTE 3 cars. So they tend to rely a lot on the rake angle, so the rear ride height on the cars, as well as wing. So they're very sensitive in that aspect. But yeah, good lot of fun around here. I think some of these longer radius corners are going to play a bit of havoc with the front end of the car. It's going to start pushing as this race goes on. So potentially we may see the working side tyres. Obviously for this track will be the right hand. So the left hand side of the car might look to actually be changed when the guys come in for a pit stop.
Okay, and that's definitely something we'll keep an eye on. Of course, in the pits tonight, we've got Wei Han Chan. He's our pit reporter, and no doubt you'll be all over that, Wei Han.
Yep, I'll be having a look at the pits throughout the race.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, Daniel, while we're waiting for live pictures to come up here, can you tell the viewers a little bit about the series rules tonight around, fast repairs, that sort of thing? Yeah,
definitely. So it's going to be rolling start setup for these cars. So different to obviously what we saw last night with the V8s, where it was a standing grid. We've got a 50% fuel ceiling for all cars in this session. One quick repair, which hopefully most guys won't need to use that lap 1, but turn 1 here is very tight, so we may see a few incidents as these guys get rolling. There is no incident limit for the race, so no one will be wiped out if they do exceed the iRacing minimum, which I think is 17 points, possibly wrong there. Now they are awarding additional points on top of your finishing position for drivers that can have minimum to clean incident-free races. So if you manage to complete the race 0 incidents, you can earn another 5 points to your finishing points for this round. 4 points will be awarded for 1 incident. 2 points will be awarded for anyone who gets 3 incidents or less, and we will see 1 drop round this season. So we've got 11 races to cover, 1 drop round. For any of the guys who don't turn up, that might be their one chance to sort of not fall too far down the points order.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about this rules is it really encourages clean driving, doesn't it? If you can have a really, really clean race, you're up for bonus points.
Yeah, definitely, and we've noticed that. Obviously, this is a rule that's been in for a few seasons now with this series, but it does help reward the cleanliness of drivers. But that's another 5 points you've potentially got to help you up in that Drivers' Championship and also your team's championship as well.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting this series is normally very closely run, and I'm expecting all these small points are going to make a huge difference towards the end of this season. We can see at the moment Anthony Winkleman getting a little bit wrong there up on the ripple strips. It'd be interesting to find out exactly how touchy these things are, but we're going straight to the grid, folks, so let's have a look at this and we'll go through the grid now. Weehan, I'll get you to call a grid, mate.
Yeah, alright, so starting off first with a lap time of 1:47.176 is Brad Watson, and not too far behind him, about 0.6 of a second, is Anthony Winkleman. Starting behind them on row 2 is actually David Lord, his number 11 machine, as well as Tobias Cherney in his number 197 machine. Behind them in row 3 we have Jason Benz and Brock Craig in 5th and 6th. Behind them we have in 7th Andika Rama Bolana, and in in 8th position Abhirafti Raditya Putra. Behind them in 9th and 10th we have Ilham Halabi and Ross Rizzo. So Ross rounds up your top 10.
Yeah, fantastic. And then it looks like we're about to go racing here, guys. We're going to have a bit of a warm-up, so we'll continue going through here. Kevin Huang, he's going to start in 11th position tonight, followed by Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira in 12th. 13th, Jazreen Jali, followed by Chandra Wayudi Yong, then Steve Bacade in 15th, followed by Miko Nasi 16th, 17th, Ahmed Nur Azam, and then Matt Morris will start out of 18th position. Sean Thompson, he's going to start in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Robert Taylor from the UK.
In 21st, we've got Lachlan Crowe, followed by Gary Cousins. 23rd is Johnson JW Yong. 24th is Mohammed Fias bin Mutaranga. Andrew Stokes in 25th. Jordan Wong in 26th. Indro Ferriento in 27th. Simon Jorge Sanchez in 28th. Kim Jong-ao in 29th. Simon Mazoma is in 30th.
Yeah, and we're under green here. One thing I did notice, guys, Anthony Winkleman is sitting in the pits at the moment, so that's a bit of a shock for the person sitting in second in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely not what we would have expected to see. He set a blistering time to be 0.6 just behind Brad Watson, but looking at the front, I think Jason Benz has made a cracker start there, and one guy that I want to keep an eye on is Tobias Cherney as well.
Yeah, definitely. Jason's up to 4th already, and then we've got Brock Craig and Drika, and Ross Rizzo sitting in 8th position at the moment as we see the train of GTEs on lap 1 coming through. Now, of course, this is a timed race, folks. We've got 44 minutes of this race to complete.
Yeah, nice clean start by everyone. They've managed to get themselves down to single file here. Just seen a spin. Who was that? We've had, trying to get back to him, car 17 has actually looped it in the hairpin up on the inside grass there.
Yeah, that's Raditya Putra looping it there. We're going to jump back and have a quick look at what exactly happened to him here.
And I have just noticed too, our second place starter, Anthony Winkleman, is actually out on track now, so I'm not quite sure whether he's missed the start or started off pit lane intentionally to sort of avoid any wrecks that may have happened, but he's just getting his way up past Sean Thompson at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of work to do there. If he didn't just miss the grid, there's a bit of contact with the 15 there as Brafadi there went around. But let's get back to live pictures, folks.
Yeah, the guys are starting to settle in. It looks like, based off that start, Brad Watson's still up in lead, David Lord in second, Tobias Cherney, we've seen him in this series quite a few seasons now, a very quick guy. Look for him going forward. He's sitting in third currently.
That's right, and then we've got Jason Benz 4th, 5th Andika Rama Mulana, 6th Ross Rizzo, Brock Craig 7th, Kevin Huang, he's up to 8th now, I think he started back in 10th. Ilham Halabi in 9th. 10th is Jazreen Jali.
Yeah, so we haven't seen too many issues from the guys getting around. Just looking at Ross Rizzo's car in 7th. That's a fantastic looking paint job on that car at the moment, really stands out on the Ford. He's got a little bit of work to get up to Ndika in 5th there, but good to see so many guys actually running the Ford after all the initial issues from its launch.
Yeah, it is fantastic, isn't it? And I know the Ferrari, a lot of people are saying we're more drivable. As we look deeper into the field here, 18th position, Yaron Wong there, he's trying to catch up with Chandra just in front of him, and of course we've got Robert Taylor there leading this string in this battle pack.
Yeah, Robert's he's only reasonably new into this series, but very consistent driver. Doesn't seem to put a wheel wrong, and I think we actually see him predominantly running the V8s normally here in Australia, but stepping up to the GT cars very nicely.
And we can see now who's this, Chandra and Lachlan Crowe going at it into the S's here, and it looks like Chandra's just in front of him, but he's got Jaron Wong, then Johnson Yong right behind him. So this is down in 18th, 19th and 20th, so it's definitely going off back here.
Yeah, good little battle, and I saw Lachlan earlier on in the week getting some laps in around this circuit, and he did mention he was struggling a little early on in the week, but is definitely getting his way back around with this car.
Yeah, and we just saw Simon go into the back of Johnson there while we're on the gearbox cam, but right behind him though we've got Mohammed here defending against Anthony Winkleman, who's also just been tagged by Kim Kyung Ao.
Yeah, Anthony won't be too happy about that. Obviously missing the start has put him a long way back in this field, but given the outright pace that he has got in this car, shouldn't be too hard to dispose of these guys in front and work their way up, but like you said earlier, it's going to be a very hard job for him to do. Yeah,
well I guess he's buried in the field, and if his race strategy can help him any and get him in as soon as that pit window opens, get him some fresh air, he might be able to jump a lot of these guys in the pits.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, if he had been able to take the grid at the start, we'd be having a really good battle with Brad Watson, who really is starting to open the gap pretty frequently now on David Lord. It's up just over 4 seconds at the moment, and Tobias is currently 5.5 seconds back in third.
Yeah, the guys are very well spread out now, aren't they? And then we look further back, Jason Bentz. He's coming under a bit of attack now by Ndika for 4th and 5th position. But the front, probably 10, they're well spread out at the moment. Yeah,
definitely are. And something the guys are going to probably have to get used to, especially with how these cars operate, is you've got 2 modes of traction control. So they can play around with the traction control 1, which is your standard get on the loud pedal and get out of the corners, but you've got a little bit of leeway with traction control 2, which is your lateral sideways movement. So Jason, if he does start getting into some trouble with the tyres later on, he's got a bit of options to still tune that car and get it nicely through to the finish.
Yeah, so that'll be something that Weehan can keep an eye on, I guess, when we come to pits. At the moment, Weehan, have we had any guys come through the pits yet?
It doesn't seem like any right now yet, so I was just looking at some battles behind, but no cars in the pits so far, looking good.
Okay, no worries. It's definitely going to heat up though, because they've got 50% fuel capacity, so these guys are definitely going to have to pit. I guess Daniel would be looking at 15 minutes in, maybe 20, the pit window will well and truly be opened.
Yeah, generally you've got 2 options with the pit window for this circuit. You can, or for this series in general, you can come in anywhere from about 20 to 25 minutes. So you've got a 5-minute window there you can play around with. But most guys in the front of this race are probably going to extend their fuel window as far as they can. Some of the guys that are in some of these battle packs, like Anthony and Kim Jong-ao and Indro Ferianto, might want to shorten up their first run, get in, get out, and see with a bit of clear track where they can increase those positions that they're in.
Yeah, well, that's going to be key, I think. But at the moment, Anthony Winkleman, he's already up to 18th position. Of course, he was meant to start out a second tonight, but it looks like he missed the grid for whatever reason and started all the way back in 30th. But considering we've only been racing here for 8 minutes at the Nürburgring, he's doing a fantastic job slicing through the field. Yeah,
definitely. But being so far buried down as he's making his way through, you can really see those lap times of his are quite affected. Currently his last lap was a minute 52. If we look to what our race leader was doing, that was a couple of seconds quicker, so he's definitely making it a bit harder for himself having missed that start.
Oh yeah, he'd be kicking himself, wouldn't he? Or the pit crew or race manager will, that's for sure. We can see here Stephen Bacade at the moment. He's having a bit of a battle with Lachlan Crowe. This is for 14th and 15th. Stephen's already up 2 positions from where he started, and he's 21.8 seconds down from the lead. But meanwhile, folks, Brad Watson is clearing out. He's got a gap of 5.1 seconds now to David Lord. Tobias Cherney sitting in third, 6.2 seconds down, and Jason Bentz another, he's 7.1 seconds down. So the top 5 are all separated by about a second at the moment.
Yeah, quite good to see. Obviously second, third, fourth, within a couple of seconds of each other. Brad's in a class of his own, much like he was last round at Mosport, but really good to see the likes of Jason getting up on the back of Tobias and keeping hold with him, and Dika's doing a fantastic job there, not too far behind, sitting in 5th either.
Yeah, really good job, that's for sure. And we're just riding with Stephen Bacade there, and you saw a little bit of his telemetry, and they continue around, but right behind him Anthony Winkleman's already on the back of Robert Taylor, and this is for 16th position. As we can see now, Anthony going on the inside, Robert's thinking about defending, he's coming across, they touch panels, and it's going to be close as they get down to the hairpin.
Yeah, I think Anthony will have that move pretty well sewn up before the corner there, although just looking at Stephen Bacade and Lachlan Crowe, both of those guys had lock brakes into turn 1, so possibly starting to find some issues with the setup, but no, Anthony's doing a phenomenal job on the charge back through this field at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. We'll cross to our pit reporter. Weehan, I believe there's a driver in the pits at the moment?
Yes, I was just looking at Faris. He was in the pits just now repairing his car, I believe, and now he's just left out and he's currently exiting the Mercedes arena of this track.
Okay, so from what you saw, did it seem like a fairly normal pit stop, or do you think there was some sort of repairs that he had to get on that car?
Yes, it did look like there were some repairs that had to be done because his engine was actually switched off for quite a good amount of time. Okay, so
he's currently in 30th, and while we were reporting on that, folks, we saw Robert Taylor have a spin. He's dropped all the way down to 25th. Then we've got Chandra here in 26th, battling it out with Abarafadi. I think I got that right, for that position.
Yeah, just a little further ahead of these guys, we've got a good little battle here with Andrew Stokes, Gary Cousins and Indro Ferriento. So 22nd, 23rd, 24th, pretty close together. And also looks like Sean Thompson's getting involved in that one as well. So good little four-car battle pack at the moment.
Yeah, and Sean's dropped 6 positions since the start of this race, so he's going to be looking at getting that car up. As we see another car peeling into the pits, I think that was Chandra coming in now, Weehan, so we'll cross to you shortly, and this could be the start, Daniel, of the pit stops.
Yeah, quite possibly. It seems still a little early, but a lot of these guys that seem to be coming in now have been involved in a few battles, so possibly looking for that little bit of clear air to pick the lap times up again and maybe try a bit of a sneaky undercut and grab an extra position where they can.
Yeah, so it's actually Andrew Stokes who came into the pits, apparently, I believe, to perhaps do a fast repair or something. Yeah, he stopped for about a few seconds and now he's on his way out to rejoin the track.
Yeah, and that pit stop was 8 seconds, so a pretty quick one. We've also had Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira. He stopped for 5.6 seconds, And at the moment, we're looking out of the back of Tobias Cherney in 4th. He's being stalked at the moment, Daniel, by Andika Ramamulana.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Benson's managed to find his way through there, so we didn't quite see what happened on that little exchange, but fantastic showing from Andika, and I don't know how much time Tobias has managed to spend in this car this week, but normally from what we've seen in the past, he was very strong in the McLaren the last 2 seasons in this championship. He did very, very well, but possibly still, like we said, getting that feet on that car. But another guy that I'm just watching making his way back up is Anthony Winkelman. He's just got past Steve McCade and Lachlan Crowe, so his eyes now are firmly set on Miko Nazi, and then Matt Morris just up ahead.
Yeah, and the gap up to Miko is, we'll see what it is now. It's around about 2 seconds, but already he's up to 14th position. We've been racing here, folks, now for 14 minutes and 31 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it looks like our top 10 very spread out at the moment. Andika, like you say, still locked on the back of Tobias Cherney's Ferrari there. So Andika's definitely found something in that Ford, and after the iRacing updates where we did notice there were some issues with the bodywork on the Ford and curbs, he's putting on a fantastic little show at the moment.
He certainly is, as we're on the nose cam there with Andika, and could just see as he closes up under brakes, and then Tobias is just pulling out a little bit, but it's going to be an interesting battle between these two, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously Ford Ferrari power, but I think if you had to give the sound of one the upper nod, I can't still beat the sound of that Ford. As much as I'm a Ferrari fan, that Ford does sound completely different to anything else out in the world of racing at the moment.
I just love the look of it. I think it's giving a tip of the hat to the classic Ford GT, but it just looks meaner.
Yeah, very much a prototype-based GT car, but having said that, I mean, Ford with this generation of car went from a naturally aspirated to a turbo engine, so it does have a different sound, not as high-pitched squeal as we were used to, but it does make it drive a little different to what we may have expected previously.
Yeah, I haven't actually driven either of these cars at the moment, so I wouldn't know, but I would have loved to have driven this Ford GT, that's for sure, the GTE version.
Yeah, it is a different style to what you find in the Ferrari, but very easy to get used to. You do feel very low in the car, and I think the Ford almost feels like you're in a go-kart. You get in the front, it almost feels like the standard station wagon. It's just that little bit higher seating position, but both cars are phenomenal to drive around in.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll just cross back over to our pit reporter. Weehan, you got a bit more news with some drivers?
Yes, it looks as if Robert Taylor has come into the pits as well, maybe for perhaps a few seconds, might be for repairs, might be for a short change.
Okay, so his stop was 8.3 seconds. We've also had Gary Cousins come in, Weehan, 9-second stop. So to me that looks like it could just be scheduled stops there. Do you know if there was any fast repairs going on with Robert Taylor?
I think it might have been a fast repair for him, because it is early in the pits. I think not really anyone is going to sort of go for a refuel, so it could be either.
Yeah, and I'm having a look at the top three here, Daniel, and it's quite interesting. We've got Brad Watson now in first, 10 seconds ahead of David Lord in second. Jason Bent's third, fourth Tobias Cherney. So Brad's just streaking out in front of this field, isn't he?
Yeah, he's found a magic setup for this car, I think. Just judging by the lap times, he's consistently 1.5 to almost 2 seconds up on the following cars. Tobias is floating around to that minute 50, 51.9, minute 52 region. So it's quite easy to see where the gap's coming from, and just getting it back to Anthony Winkelman. He's starting to really get up on the back of Matt Morris here at the moment as they get through turn one. But Winkelman's definitely starting to find something. He's running pretty similar time to what we've got with the first couple of cars, and definitely another second and a half quicker than what Matt and Mika and Ahmed Nurizan are running at the moment as well.
Yeah, we can see Ndika there. He's just catching back up on Tobias, and I thought Tobias was going to have a crack on Jason, but it looks like he's gone back into defensive mode, and as Ndika now is all over the back of him.
And that's not a bad move, because you can play around with the fuel mix in these cars. So by Tobias sitting behind Jason there, he might be able to wind that fuel mix back just a touch, save a bit of fuel, and maybe get 1 or 2 more laps out of this tank of juice.
Yeah, and that'll also play in Ndika's favour as well, because he's of course been slipstreaming Tobias now for quite a number of laps, probably the last good 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah, definitely. It is going to be interesting though to see if they are able to play that fuel strategy game, how much longer they can get away being out on track than what we're going to see with Brad. But yeah, take nothing away from Brad. I mean, he's the star act of the show tonight. He's got nothing, no foot being put wrong. He's just banging out those minute 50 lap times at the moment.
Yeah, and he's a good 1 second a lap. Well, he was last time faster than David Lord. That got now 12.29 seconds. So he's just dominating at the moment. If we look where Anthony Winkleman is, of course he should have started in second. He's now up to 13th position, 34 seconds down. But of course, as he climbs up through the field here, it's going to get harder for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it will, I think, but at the same time, he's running laps that are between 3 to half a second quicker than what the cars in front of him are. So if he's able to keep those tyres underneath it, I don't see why he won't continue with that pace that he's got at the moment, but he's certainly starting to give Miko a bit of a hard time there.
Yeah, he's starting to climb on the back of him here, and we'll see where he's going to make the move. I'm not very familiar with this track, so I don't know where the best passing opportunities are. Do you have any idea, Daniel, where you think he's going to make this move?
Yeah, so he may have a look coming up into the hairpin, possibly look for a good run before they hit the back section. If that fails, obviously turn 1 is probably the preferred passing opportunity on this circuit.
Yeah, so he'll tuck in here as they come up through the S's, and yeah, we'll keep an eye as they come back onto the main straight here.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful. Just in where they are now, it's very easy to run wide and pick up an off track, which in turn also gives you a slowdown penalty. So Anthony's going to have to be careful as he fights behind Mika here and avoiding the understeer that'll be associated from that car in front of him.
Yeah, you can see now as he's starting to close in, and he's thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a very hard corner through that chicane there to be able to make a pass effectively. You might have seen it if it was the old GP layout where it's a much tighter chicane, but both drivers have got to know that it's on and be prepared to give room.
Yeah, and back onto the main straight here, we'll see if Anthony's going to make a move. He's having a look now. He's going on the inside as they come into the hairpin, Daniel. As you predicted, he's made that move.
Yeah, nice clean move, very easy to do, and good confidence in the brakes. So that car, package-wise and performance-wise, is working phenomenally well for him at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is, and with 23 minutes to go, though, he's 36 seconds off as he just gets it a bit... the back end just let go a little bit under acceleration. I guess he's going to have to be fairly nice with these tyres, isn't he? Because of course they're not going to throw tyres on these cars for 45 minutes.
No, he won't play with the tyres, but he will have the option to change that traction control setting we spoke of earlier. But just based on that last lap, even though he was battling Mika, he was still 2 seconds quicker than Ahmed Nurizan just in front of him.
Yeah, so he's definitely on the move, and Weehan, we've got a bit more pit report news.
Yeah, we've just had Johnson Wong pitting in apparently for perhaps for another service, and now he's rejoining the track again, and he's currently, I think, at P24.
Yeah, and his stop looked like it was about 11.5 seconds. So Daniel, it looks like they're stopping anywhere from 5.6 seconds up to around about 11.5 seconds.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting spread of stop times that we've seen so far. Obviously, Muhammad must have had some damage and not been able to select the fast repair in time. But Johnson Young has definitely had the longest stop time here, 11.5 seconds, as you mentioned. But generally, we're probably going to only see the guys in for about 5 to 6 seconds if they do just fuel only. Maybe a touch longer if there's tyres. But I think these are set up very similar to the GT cars, where you'll get your fuel in first, then you'll get individual tyres completed on this car.
Yeah, and we shouldn't see any tyres at all unless the pit crew messes that up. But at the moment, Endika is now still stalking Tobias. These guys have been going at it now pretty much since the start of the race, and Tobias just can't shake Endika, can he?
No, not at the moment, but what this is doing is also bringing Ross Rizzo back into the fight. He's 3 seconds behind that little group there, so we're potentially going to have 2nd through 6th battling pretty closely, and I don't think any of the guys in front have got anything though for Brad Watson.
Oh no, definitely not. Brad's out 14.5 seconds at the moment, and if he continues going for the next 21 minutes, he's going to streak ahead. Well, he has. He's just going to win it quite easily. But at the moment, Ndika and Tobias are still at it. You can see there, Ndika's made that move on Tobias, and now he's starting to move forward to try and hunt down Jason Bentz.
Yeah, and he's been quite consistent with that car. The lap times haven't really moved far from a minute 51.9, so good consistency showing there. Similar with Jason Bentz up in front. He was 3/10 a lap, 3/10 quicker on that last lap to what David Lord was, and slowly bringing that gap down between those two.
Yeah, he's just having a steady race and being consistent, which is one thing you really need to be in this sort of series. Having a look at our top 10 as they stand at the moment, folks. Brad Watson is leading, 15.5 seconds is a gap back to David Lord in second. Jason Bentz, he's sitting in third, 1.2 seconds down from David. Then we've got Ndika Rama Mulana in fourth, Tobias Cherney in fifth, Ross Rizzo sitting in sixth, seventh Brock Craig, 8th Ilham Halabi, 9th Kevin Huang, and rounding out your top 10 is Jazreen Jali. And Weehan, I understand you've got some more pit action to report on.
Yes, I just did actually. I think 1 lap ago, Stephen just pitted in, and I think it's because this might be around the timing where the pit window starts to open up, and more people may just start to come in to have a service to fill based on their strategy.
Yeah, so his stop was fairly slow though, wasn't it? 15.2 seconds. That's the slowest we've seen. I can also see Kin Kyung Ao is also in the pits, just coming out now, Weehan.
Yes, I think he did. He might be another one with this similar strategy as well to refuel at this stage.
Yeah, so that stop, Daniel, another 15.2 seconds. So it's a bit hard to tell, isn't it? What is the average time around here at the moment? We've had 2 in the 15s, 1 11.5. The fastest though was 5.6 seconds.
Yeah, it is pretty odd, but I think with looking at when Leonardo De Oliveira came in, he was one of the first cars that came in, I think, on the opening lap from damage. So I would expect he's going to need to make another stop. He's similar stint time to what we've got from the guys in front, but one car I did notice having a bit of trouble just a lap ago was Ahmed Nuruzan, as Anthony Winkelmann was setting up to put the crossover on him in through turn 1. I think Ahmed outbraked himself, got it up on the dirt, and then brought it to a stop right on the apex of turn 1, which as Anthony turned in, he had nowhere to go and collected the rear of that car. But Ahmed Nuruzan is now up in the pit lane, looks to be probably going to have to take a fast repair to clear that little bit of damage on the rear of the car.
Yeah, you can see him now just coming down the pits there. We'll get Weehan just to keep an eye on what's going on there and get back to him, because the action now, Tobias Cherney and Ndika Rama. Tobias is trying to pull him in, but he's just losing a little bit of touch there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring my way up, but yeah, he is definitely losing a little bit of touch with that, and it is helping Ross sort of slowly work his way back up to it. But Tobias, if he hasn't been able to get the time in the car to sort of get this setup dialed, it's probably chewing up the tyres a bit more than he's expected for this at the moment.
Yeah, 17 minutes of this race to go. We're having a look back here. Ilham Halabi, he's having a good battle here with Brock Craig. That's for 7th and 8th position.
Yes, and I'm just having a look at the pits again, and apparently 2 wide lap machines of Ahmad Nurazam and Indra Ferianto have just pitted and left the pits. Apparently they might be sharing the same pit strategy.
Okay, and I just noticed another car's coming in as well, Weehan. I'm not sure who that is. It might be Jason Bentz coming into the pits.
So I'm just going to his car.
Yeah, it's definitely Jason Bentz coming in to have his stop now, and I guess we'll be expecting quite a few of the cars to be coming into the pits, Weehan, so you're going to be a busy boy, but while you're running up and down the pits, we'll get back to the action here of Brock Craig, Ilham Halabi.
Yeah, it's a good little battle starting to go on with these two guys. Brock's got a little bit of damage on that left front corner, so possibly a little bit of a banging doors on the opening lap there, but good showing from those two boys in the Ferraris, but they got a little bit of work to catch up on Ross Rizzo. He's just extending that gap and looking to get on the back here of Tobias Cherney still.
Yeah, we can see Ross in that beautifully presented American livery there, trying to get on the back of Tobias. Of course, at the moment though, Andika, he's pulled out. If we have a look at that gap, 1.1 seconds back to Tobias now.
Yeah, it is. It's great to see Andika doing what he's doing and pulling away from the likes of Tobias Cherney, but I would expect in the next few races, as Tobias gets up on that car, he'll definitely be looking to move forward and take it to Andika in the next round, but doesn't look like Andika's managing to close down David Lord in front of him. However, that gap is still slowly growing, but I think we're 5 seconds now, as looks like Tobias is actually coming into pits at the moment as well.
Yeah, he's coming in right as you called it. Anthony Winkleman, folks, he's now up to 10th position. Of course, he started from the pits in 30th, should have started in 2nd, and he's now into the top 10.
Yeah, he's making his way up quite nice. He's still got a little bit of damage from that issue with Ahmed a couple of laps previous in turn 1, but doesn't appear to be affecting the times. It's still high 51, so similar pace to what the boys in front are running, but yeah, great driving from Anthony to come back through this field like he is.
Definitely, and we just had a look at those pit stops, folks. Tobias Cherney, 7.7 seconds. David Lord also came in, 8.5 seconds. Jason Benson stopped, 9.5 seconds. And Ilham Halabi, just coming out of the pits, was 8.9 seconds. So we're starting to get a pretty good feel now of what an average pit stop will be here tonight.
Yeah, but interesting to note, Tobias with that slightly quicker stop, 2 seconds quicker, has actually allowed him to jump Jason Bentz. Jason's fallen a little way back, so might have had a little bit of an issue on the outlap from that stop, but great job by Tobias, and even Lachlan to actually jump up a few positions in this race.
Yeah, well, Lachlan's he's yet to pit yet, but he's right in front of Jason. Of course, Jason has pitted, so all of a sudden Jason's got his hands full trying to clear Lachlan here.
Yeah, we've also got our race leader, Brad Watson's in pit lane at the moment as well, and second place Dave Lord's already pitted as well.
Yeah, so the action's definitely heating up down there, and I tell you what, Weehan, you've got your work cut out for you down there, mate.
Yep, we've just got even more cars coming into the pit, so I think this is high time for cars to start to want to fill up the tanks again, according to their strategy again. And yes, I'm just looking at Rama right now entering the pits, presumably for another refuel.
Yeah, we can see Lachlan now. We'll see when he's coming in. Of course, he's got to stop. Our new race leader, folks, is Ross Rizzo, but he's still got to make a pit stop. And then we've got Brad Watson, as now we see Lachlan Crowe peeling in. That's going to free Jason Bentz, Daniel.
Yeah, well, and obviously the only car that we haven't had stop or we've only had one car, stop in the top 5, being Brad Watson, slipped from first to second, but we still got to wait to see Ross Rizzo, Brock Craig, Kevin Huang and Anthony Winkelman all bring their cars down the lane here.
Yes, I was just taking a look at the PM3 and apparently the cars of Jaron Wong and Sean Thompson, they almost came into contact while entering, going in too wide, and now they're also in for some servicing.
You can see Sean there, and I'm not sure who that was that went past him, lighting up the tyres, and I just like looking at the smoke as they spin these tyres up.
Yeah, it's a hard car to get off the line though. You do need to use a lot more clutch than we see with some of the others. It wants to almost stall itself. So most of the guys might have a button set up. They can disable the traction and get those tyres lit up and away a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a trick, isn't it? And that's only going to come as they get used to these cars. Although I must admit, compared to round 1, the guys seem a lot more settled in these cars.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we're a much bigger circuit than what we had with Mosport, but slightly smaller, lower field size is definitely helping that out. But now obviously the guys got through round 1. Everyone kind of gets an understanding of where they're at, and we know what we're racing with. But just watching Ilhan Halabi's trying the outside move into the chicane before the front straight against Jason Benson, looks to have a run, which he's just pulled back in as they head up onto the front straight here.
Yeah, and Jason had a bit of a correction mid-corner there, and it's made him vulnerable as Ilham now is on the inside here as they race down to the hairpin.
Yeah, it's good driving from the 3 wide into turn 1. That's not going to go. Someone's going to get collected here. And how did they get out of that with no major issues?
Yeah, well, Ilham sort of backed out of it, didn't he? He did get a bit of a tag there, and that's Brock Craig that's come out of the pits. That's probably helped Jason a little bit, because Jason looked like he was done as far as that position was.
Yeah, good driving by all 3 to give each other as much room as they could afford, but that's a scary moment for both Jason and Ilhan, and looks like Anthony Winkelman has come in for his stop. He's back down in, I think, 11th position at the moment, of 9.1 second stop there.
Yeah, and he should jump up to 10th again, because Simon George Sanchez ahead of him hasn't stopped. Of course, Ross Rizzo also hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, Ross looks to be playing the long game. I wouldn't be surprised if he's wound down the fuel map at the start of this race, but I spoke too soon. He looks like he's in there. And Wehan, have you got any update with that stop at all, mate?
Well, so I think that there were even more cars that just came into the pits not long ago.
Yeah, so we can see Ross Rizzo now in the pits, folks, and we'll get the pit stop counter on him and see how long he's in. So far, 8 seconds. 8 second stop. Nice quick stop for Ross. He's coming out in 3rd position at the moment, and Ndika, where's Ndika? Just coming past. So Ross has come back out in 4th position, Daniel.
Yeah, really good little stop. We're obviously coming to the end of this race. I think we've got 8.5 minutes to go here. So Ross has set himself up for a pretty good position here. Might even be challenging for a podium with Ndika.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. He's looking really good at the moment. Simon George Sanchez looks like he's also in the pits, but the fastest pit stop goes to Jazreen Jarley, sitting down in 11th. His stop was 7.6 seconds.
Yeah, it's a great little stop, that one, and I mean, every little bit of time you can save on pit road is only going to help you further on in this race. But Ndika, out of the top half dozen, Ndika had the longest stop there at 10.2 versus who will we say, Tobias had a 7.8 as well.
Yes, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? The difference in pit strategy and time, and how close they're all cutting it to fuel, because that's one of the secrets, isn't it, with these cars, is you really need to do your homework to know the fuel burners and the way you're going to drive or attack this race.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously getting in and out of your pit box is a big thing too. If you overshoot your pit stop, you're going to have to reverse up and start again, and that's more time that you're just giving away to the guys in front of you for free.
Yeah, exactly right, and you don't want to do that. But I'll tell you what, folks, if we look at the top 10 as they are at the moment, Brad Watson, he's got a 24.4 second gap back to David Lord. David's got a 3.3 second gap back to Ndika, and Ndika, of course, is he's a little bit busy at the moment with Ross Rizzo, and we'll jump up to those guys so we can keep an eye on that battle. Tobias Cherney sitting in 5th with Jason Bent 6th. Ilham Halabi is 7th. 8th, Brock Craig. Kevin Huang up to 9th, and Anthony Winkleman, he's sitting in 10th position at the moment.
Yeah, so it's a great recovery drive from Anthony to be back up to inside that top 10 now, but I did notice just watching Jason as he exited turn 1, the tyres are starting to get a bit soft there, and it's moving a little, which will be unsettling in coming towards the end of this race.
Yeah, 6 minutes of this race to go, folks, and I guess at this point the tyres would be feeling a bit second hand. I did notice probably about 5 minutes ago he had to correct mid-corner, and of course that led into that great 3-wide action into turn 1.
Yes, it did. But so there might be on the back straight, he might have a little bit of an option to play around with that traction control 2 setting. Possibly might stabilise the rear of the car, but certainly not slowing him down. A minute 51.6 for the last lap versus Tobias Cherney on a 52.1. So he's definitely got a little bit of pace there still at the back end of this race.
Yeah, and the fastest lap at the moment, folks, goes to Brad Watson. No surprise there, considering his gap's out 27 seconds. The fastest time, 1:49.688.
Yeah, he's doing it comfortable, isn't he? But I mean, that's still 2 seconds off what his qualifying time was at a 47.4, I think it was. So he's settled in quite comfortably. He's not over driving the car or pushing it too hard. Just head down, bum up, and getting on with the job.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what he's doing, and just churning out those laps. His last lap 1:59.34. So no doubt that's what he's focused on at the moment. Tobias, he's starting to fall back to Jason, and in return, who's that behind him? I think that's a car a lap down that's just behind him.
Yeah, so Jason's still got Ilham Halabi, still battling just behind him there in 7th. So those two are still having a pretty good scrap, and the times for their lap times are still very, very close. But Tobias, as we said, is slowly falling down this order, and we did see him up in 3rd not that long ago, and potentially looking to be outside the top 5 come the end of this race if he's not too careful.
Yeah, well, he's got 2 pretty quick drivers, Tobias and Ilham, right behind him. So if he makes one wrong move here, he's going to drop a few positions pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And I've just ducked back up just to check on Ross Rizzo, who's still working extremely hard behind Ndika Ramamalana, just in front. So the 2 Ford drivers putting on a good little battle here. Lap times are within a 1/10 of a second of each other. So these two are fighting very hard to finish this race off.
Yeah, 3 minutes 38 seconds to go here, folks, and this action is still aplenty. As we can see, Ilham now looking up behind Jason, and he's running out of time, but I tell you what, I reckon he's going to have a crack at him at some point.
Yeah, definitely. If he's able to get the drive off the final corner, he's going to set himself up nicely for the turn 1, but Ndika's doing a good job not locking a brake. He's hitting the marks, and that in turn is going to make it very hard for Ross to get past him there.
Yeah, and we're looking out the back at Jason Bentz there as Ilham is still stalking him, and between Tobias and Ilham, those two were at it for quite some time, and it looks like Jason's decided he wants to come to the party and sit between the two of them.
Yeah, definitely, and Tobias is he's using up as much as the road as he needs within reason and making it very hard for Jason to find his way past. And just checking back on Anthony, he's slowly clawing his way up on the back of Kevin Huang there. I think they're just inside a second between those two cars as well for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, he's still 10th position at the moment, but you're right, he's starting to close up on Kevin Huang. And Kevin was, of course, the driver that gave us that great fast lap at the start of our broadcast.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job there, but I would not want to be Jason Bence at the moment, because you're trying to keep the eyes as far forward onto Tobias and out of the mirrors as Ilhan still pestering on the back of that car and doing a fantastic job, it must be said.
Oh, definitely. He's doing an awesome job. 1 minute 53 seconds of this race to go, and it's coming down to the wire. But of course, Brad Watson, his gap 26 seconds now.
Yeah, it's a total domination of this race to pull out a nearly 30-second gap in 45 minutes. That's phenomenal, really. Looks as well as Ross has actually fallen off the back of, who was he battling, Andika a little bit too in this last lap, so potentially settling for a 4th spot for Ross there.
Yeah, that's still pretty good though, isn't it? And I think a lot of that was to the pits, as we can see now Tobias locking it up in the hairpin, Jason on the outside, Ilham's looking on the inside, and now the party's starting.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone told Jason you're not meant to try and make a move on the outside through this section, but if you can get the drive, yeah, he's got it up the inside of Tobias, and Tobias is going to be pushing, and geez, Ilhan's got the best view in the house as these two goes door to door, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he wants to split them. A bit of touching panels there. Jason is still trying to get on the inside of Tobias. Tobias is not going to let him have this position. They've gone about too wide. Now Ilham's flashing his lights, telling him to get a move on, because he wants to get past both of them. Yeah,
and I think Jason will get this one done. And it also looks like Ilhan's managed to get up past Tobias. He's on the outside. That's a tough place to be, and lucky if he doesn't get an off track there.
Yeah, and Ilham's made that move, but I tell you what, fantastic driving by those three. Side-by-side action, banging doors, but nothing untoward as far as any major collisions.
No, and it could have been very bad for those guys had they have touched, but no, good driving all round. Ilhan did a great job and just sort of let it play out, and then got a move on the exit of that hairpin there.
Yeah, so all of a sudden Jason Bence is up to 5th, folks. 6th Ilham, and then Tobias Cherney. We've got the white flag out. We can see Brad Watson now, the gap 28.2 seconds. He can almost taste that champagne.
Yeah, definitely. He'll just wind everything back and savour this last lap. It's been an outstanding drive from Brad tonight. He's dominated this field pretty much from start to finish, and definitely going to give the guys in the rest of this series a good idea of what can be done in these cars and where they need to start aiming to get the lap times out of them.
Oh, definitely, and I tell you what, it's not a slow field. This is a top split of probably 48 drivers, and the quality of drivers we've got in here, both from Asia and Australia, New Zealand, a lot of these guys, they're not slow, are they?
No, not at all, and as you mentioned, it is quite an international field. Obviously, Robert Taylor comes out of UK. Tobias Cherney is he's where is he, in
Germany.
Germany. So, worldwide field, this one at the moment.
Yeah, we can see now Brad Watson coming onto the straight, and he's going to take out round 2 here at the Nürburgring. Well done to Brad Watson. Pretty much led this race start to finish. He was on pole position, of course, and he's just dominated tonight.
Yeah, fantastic job by Brad Watson and his boys. He's driven an outstanding race. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah, and we can see David Lord now. He's coming around into the final corner as well, and he will take 2nd position. And he's 3 seconds in front of Indika. And Ross, look at Ross having a go here as they come through, but Indika just holds him out for 3rd position.
Yeah, great drive there, and I'd actually written Ross off a lap earlier. I thought he'd maybe settled for that fourth spot, but no, came back very strong, and Andika did a great job just to hold on to third there.
Yeah, Ilham 5th, 6th, Tobias. Something's happened to Jason here. He's, oh, look at his car. We'll jump back and have a look at what's happened, because he's ripped the whole front off that car.
Yeah, it looks, there's contact through the final chicane, and Jason's copped a big whack in the back there and put that thing into the wall.
Yeah, so we'll have a look. This was a battle between Ilham and Jason. And I tell you what, we were talking these guys up, but last lap the pressure got up, didn't it? And unfortunately, it looks like Jason has come off second best here. Yeah,
and it was a bit of an odd one. Ilhan had the run. If he had just held it back, he probably could have fired it up the inside into the final turn there instead of tagging the rear quarter. And I'm sure it wasn't done as an intentional move, but yeah, not the finish that Jason would want, especially after the round he had last night in the V8s, and he was certainly on for a great recovery.
Certainly was. The other thing was when he got tagged there, he just went straight ahead until he hit the wall. It looked like he didn't even try to turn it.
Yeah, very weird. It's not a great finish, and it looks like we had Anthony come back. He actually lost a couple of spots in the last few laps. I'm not sure whether there was some car trouble for him or maybe got in contact with something, but he's finished up in 12th position.
Yeah, he had a couple of off-tracks. We're having a look at the replay now. On lap 23, he actually had 3 off-tracks, and that was the second last lap. He's yeah, so something's happened on this lap. We'll keep an eye on him. And oh yeah, he's spun up on the ripple strips into the pit lane backwards, and that would explain it. Turn 1, or last turn, he's lost it, guys.
Yeah, no, that's Anthony will be bitterly disappointed with that effort. But look, he's done an outstanding drive in coming from the back of the grid after missing the start to even get towards that top 10, and as much as he's not going to be happy with the 12th, it's still a fantastic job.
Yeah, it certainly is a fantastic job, but let's go through the final results here, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver has finished tonight. So tonight's win goes to Brad Watson. Started on pole, finished in number 1. Looking at David Lord, he gained 1 position to finish in second. Andika Ramamulana jumped 4 positions to finish in third. Ross Rizzo, fantastic drive there, 6 positions to come home in fourth. Ilham Halabi, he's finished in 5th and jumped 4 position. Tobias Cherney comes home in 6th position, followed by Brock Craig in 7th and Jason Bentz in 8th. Kevin Huang held on for 9th, and then Jaireen Jali came home in 10th position. Miko Nasi, he came home in 11th, and rounding out your top 12 is Anthony Winkleman.
In 13th we had Matt Morris, 14th was Ahmed Nurizan, 15th was Lachlan Crowe, 16th was Jaron Wong, 17th Kerry Cousins, 18th was Steve Bacade, Indro Ferriento was 19th, Chandra Yong finished in 20th, Simon Jorge Sanchez was 21st, Sean Thompson in 20th, and 23rd was Putra.
It was Abhirafti Raditya Putra.
There we are, finishing in 23rd, and the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, that was Robert Taylor, UK, and I in 24th. It looks like so far the biggest mover and shaker has been Jaron Wong. From what we've seen, he jumped 10 positions, but we'll continue down through the field here. Kin Kyung Ao, 25th position. 26th Johnson Yong, 27th Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira, 28th Andrew Stokes, Simon Mazzomo 29th, and Mohammed Faraz bin Murtaza, I probably butchered that, in 30th. But I guess the 2-1 big mover and shakers would have been Jaron Yong and of course Anthony Winkleman, who started in 30th, and I think he came home in about 12th position.
Yeah, it came home in 12th. I was just watching some of those issues that he did have, and it looks like there was contact in the Mercedes Arena section with, who was he battling? Kevin Huang. So that sort of led to what we saw later on with the spin in the pit lane.
Okay. So that's interesting. And it looks like we've got a few interviews down there. We might, let's have a look, bring David Lord up. He came second. And I might get you to start this interview if you like, Daniel.
Yeah, sure. G'day, David. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box, mate. Fantastic results. Second place. How did you go tonight?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a good result for the team. Brad is like a mile ahead of everyone, so a lot of work to be made up there. Like, even though second's a good result, I really want to get up to challenge Brad for the championship.
Yeah, Brad obviously classed the field tonight, nearly 30-second lead over the rest of the field. But with the scheme of the race, how did you find the tyres went on as this race progressed?
Yeah, the tyres sort of go off after about 4 or 5 laps, and it's a bit touch and go, and then towards the end they sort of stabilise and pretty much smooth sailing. I just had to manage the gap with guys behind me, and it was a pretty boring race to me, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it looked like there was a little bit of a battle in the initial laps with yourself and Tobias Cherney, which looked great. And obviously, once you sort of managed to gap that, that gap sort of just extended. But what do you think you need to look for in this car, maybe to start challenging up with Brad there?
I don't know. I think there's some sort of setup tweak that needs to be done. I've noticed in a lot of practice sessions, there are guys that are like a second ahead of the entire field. And I watched the replays, and they just seem to have some sort of better front end grip. I've really got to set up and try and eke out that extra 10th or 2. Just build from there. But I definitely think setup needs some work.
Yeah, if you do stumble across that magic setup, I'd love to know off air, because I'm still looking for it myself. But
okay, I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But no, look, mate, congratulations, second result, fantastic. I think we're watching you in the point standing as well, coming along quite nicely. So good result, and obviously we're going to look forward to seeing you next round.
Yep, looking forward to it, guys.
And obviously, before we let you go, mate, please give us a shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah, just shout out to Fire Solutions. He's basically sponsoring the whole team, and yeah, thanks to him I wouldn't be here. So cheers to Simfy.
Fantastic. Well, look, mate, thank you very much for coming in. Congratulations again for second result tonight, and like we said, we'll look forward to seeing you on the grid for the next round next weekend.
Thanks, Dan. See ya.
Yeah, fantastic effort there by David Lord, folks. He came home in second position. Having a look at these, Daniel, Brad Watson led 24 laps. The only other person that did lead a lap was Ross Rizzo, and of course that was because Brad did the pit stop. But apart from that, he's led start to finish. The next person we actually got Ross Rizzo down there, but before we go to that interview, we'll bring Carlos up. And did you want to have a chat with him?
Yep, why not? Hi, Carlos. Welcome to the Redback Racing TV commentary booth. So, you were in the Clubman Split. So, please tell us, how did your race go from your perspective?
Well, haven't been raced for 2 seasons. That's a bit hard, and I've been seeing a lot of new drivers around. They are quite fast.
Right. Now I'm just looking at some of the finishing positions of your teammates. So your team members in the first split. We have, I think, a couple of guys in Macau guys in split 1. King Kyung in finishing 25th, and Leonardo Oliveira in 27th. What do you think of the results?
Well, actually, it's pretty. Our strategy is just finish the race at the beginning, and furthermore, it's just wish that can get a better pace on next races coming up.
Right. So yeah, next week we go to Lime Rock Park. Right. Before you go off, would you like to give any sort of shout out to any sponsors that you have?
Well, yeah, thank you. We would like to thank Macau China Sim Racing Association for the fully support of our drivers and backup for us, and also Gazette Port Couple Restaurant, as well as 5 Degrees and Rizoma.
Alright, thank you so much for the interview. Have a nice day.
Have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you. Cheers.
Fantastic, and that was Carlos there. Carlos Fu being interviewed, folks, from Macau Racing. Next person we have for our interview is Ross Rizzo. Ross came home in 4th position.
Hell.
Hi Ross, welcome to RRTV's Combox. 4th position tonight, mate, and you're the only other driver that led a lap here tonight.
Oh, win something. Yeah, it was a really intense race, and I really enjoyed the competition. It's really stepped up from last season, and it's the GTE. That the GTE is bringing out the best sim races because everyone loves this car. So it was really good to see the competition just outrageously hot tonight. So congrats to Brad and David in the podium on their awesome result.
Yeah, Brad really dominated tonight, but one thing I've noticed, it looks like the racing standard has jumped a lot since last week. Is that your impression, or was it still pretty full on last week as well? Speaking, we had 62 cars.
Unfortunately, I couldn't attend last week, which I deeply regretted. It sounded like fun, but it also sounded like absolute carnage. So I think it was just a lot of guys jumping in a car they really enjoyed, but not necessarily with the racecraft to match the excitement. So I can't really comment on what did or didn't happen.
Yeah, and looking at your pit stop tonight, that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like that was the key to getting you right up here. Like you're pretty much up the pointy end anyway, but coming out in 4th position after pitting, that was a pretty good move.
Yeah, it's pretty much my entire game plan because I just did not have the pace to match these guys tonight. I think I was genuine at best, top 10 if I was really lucky, top 5, and that's what happened with some guys falling off the road. And I think Tobias, sorry, I forgot his name, might have overfilled, so there I was in the box seat for another top 5. But yeah, I generally am quite decent on fuel, so I generally benefit quite greatly from the pits, but it's pretty much all I've got this season, so...
Oh, you still led a lap, so that's pretty good. How about the tyres? How did they go?
They felt really dreadful about the mid-race point. Not sure what happened. Maybe I overpressured them, but then adjusting the brake bias rearward seemed to get rid of a lot of the understeer and front locking that I was having, but still just couldn't quite. Just wasn't. I don't think I got the best out of the tyres, so fair bit to do here.
Yeah, and of course I think next week we go to Lime Rock, and I tell you what, Lime Rock in a GTE, that could be a bit of fun.
Oh, it's guaranteed to be fun. Unfortunately, I missed that one, and I'm actually really disappointed about that. But yeah, Lime Rock will be a stunning track with these cars. It's going to be craziness.
Yeah, well, up the back there, the Skip Barbers get airborne, so I'd hate to think what a GTE is going to do up that hump.
Well, brakes don't work in the air, and by the time they land, you'll probably need to start preparing for the next corner. So.
Yeah, exactly right. They might need to take a parachute. Anyway, Ross,
some extra wing for some spectacular wheelies as well.
Exactly right. But before we let you go, Ross, do you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors?
Yep. So thank you to Proforce Racing, Kayani, Acacia Marketplace, Race Centre, GTI, Edge Auto Concepts, and Aussie Gamers Express for your support. Thanks very much.
Fantastic, Ross. Well, we'll probably see you in a couple of weeks, mate. And, yeah, congratulations, 4th position tonight.
Thanks very much, Bernie. Take care.
Okay, Weehan, we've got Kevin Huang down there, and Kevin, of course, did our hot lap, so I might let you have a bit of an interview with Kevin.
Yep, bring it. Hi Kevin, welcome to the RRTV commentators booth. So your race results, you started 11th with 149 and you finished 9th. How was your race from your perspective?
Relatively, first of all, thanks for having me, and I hope you had a really good first to broadcast.
Nervous, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm sure you did well. But yeah, race was nothing really happened. I don't even know why I'm here interviewing. But I just ran my laps. I think something happened in front of me on the first lap, and it was someone spun on the first corner. I don't know if you guys saw that, and it caused me to get ahead of Ilham, my teammate, and I thought I had the pace, but he was much faster. So after a few laps, I just let him go. No team orders, but I just let him go because I was holding him up. You could tell. You probably see in the broadcast. I was just holding him up. So after like 5 or 6 laps, I let him go, and then I basically ran by myself. I was trying to catch whoever was in front of me, but we had like the same exact pace for the whole time. And then at the end of the race, I don't know what happened. My tires started to fall off, and I did a spin, and Anthony Winkleman caught up with me, and we kind of had an incident. Yeah, I hope it's just unfortunate. I think he spun, and then I continued on. I kept the position, but other than that, pretty much not much happened for me.
Yeah, I do think it's quite an unfortunate incident that you had the contact with the driver. Well, I think you've answered almost everything that I thought of asking. But anyway, next week we proceed to Lime Rock Park. Do you have any thoughts on that track? Because it's now like a GTE car on such a small Lime Rock Park circuit. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm probably going to do really bad. I have very bad luck there. It's you need a lot of patience. You need to know when to make a move and when not to make a move. Now that we reduced the field to 30 cars, it should be okay, assuming I qualify in top split. But it should be exciting to watch. But racing-wise, it's going to be a little bit crazy and lots of crashes, I think. I hope not, but I think it's going to happen like that.
Well, you never know, I think Lime Rock Park is quite a potent place for quite a lot of sort of incidents to happen, and well, I think you just have to pray hard and do well. Okay? Right, before we let you go, do you have any sort of sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank the guys on my team. I'm part of Eurasia Sim Sport. Mark's the one that makes it all happen, so I'm kind of like he's the organizer of the whole league and also kind of the head guy. I'm the team captain, but it's Mark that does everything behind the scenes. So thanks to him, thanks to the guys in the team. Congrats to Ilham, he did really well, 5th place. So I think he can thank me a little bit for letting him go, but that's all. It's all him. It's all him. He's a really fast guy. Yeah, that's it. So see you guys next week, and will you be commentating for next week also?
Well, I hope to be. I mean, I think I'll be, but they'll have to depend on the arrangements for next week.
All right, I hope so. I look forward to watching the broadcast. Hope it was a great race. All right.
Yeah, it sure was an exciting race. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the interview. Yeah, and have a nice day.
You too. Thanks. See you guys later. Bye.
Fantastic. That was Kevin being interviewed there. He came home tonight in 9th place, folks, and of course your commentary team tonight is myself, Daniel Leet, and Weehan Chan. Well, Weehan, you will be back next week. You will be the co-commentator with me because, Daniel, you've got next couple of weeks off, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no, a couple of family commitments got to attend, but no, Weehan's in very, very good hands with yourself, and the broadcast will go on bigger and better.
Yeah, fantastic. And folks, we're coming to the end of our broadcast. If you like your endurance racing action, we may be on air tomorrow. It's still a bit up in the air, but if we are, it'll be 10:45 a.m. GMT plus 10 for the Selby Endurance Sports Car Championship. The numbers there, the field's looking a little bit thin, so we'll see if that's actually going to be covered. But of course, come back Monday night, especially for everyone on iRacing Live joining us tonight, because we've got the Skip Barber Monday Lights coming, and that is action packed. I tell you, we've got a lot of Europeans down, and taking it to the Australian New Zealanders, and we're generally in the top three I-rating races in the world. So that's of course the Australian strength of field race as well. But I tell you what, Daniel, that is just coming from strength to strength, and this season it's just really going off for the Skip Barber drivers.
Yeah, it definitely is, and there's a lot more international flavour starting to come on board with that series as well, which is providing excellent viewing for all involved, and the racing is going, like I say, from strength to strength. Sorry, so no, good things coming there. Obviously, we're hoping the Shelby Endurance Sports Car Series gets up and running tomorrow, because that's another great series, and does also feature the GTE cars, the Corvette C7, and I believe the GT3 cars as well.
That's exactly right, it does, and HPD's in there somewhere. I think they're the main ones, but yeah, we really, I'd really encourage the iRacing community to get behind that series. It's a well-deserved series. It is the premium GT sports car series in Australia at the moment, and if we can't get the numbers, it's going to be pretty hard to carry on a broadcast for 6 hours, that's for sure. But anyway, folks, let's see what happens tomorrow. But before we go, let's get our final thoughts. Weehan, what did you think of tonight's action?
Well, tonight I think the action was really quite interesting, very intense as well, because I was, other than looking at the pits, I was actually looking around some other action that was happening around the grid, and I think this is the kind of action that viewers are looking for, and I do believe we are on the right track to even more good competition.
Yeah, definitely. The standard of driving tonight was outstanding. And what about you, Daniel? Have you got any final thoughts on tonight's race?
No, not really. I mean, great driving all round. I think having the smaller field definitely avoided some of the issues we saw last week with some of the driving standards. But obviously there's a few guys that are now going to have to go away and think of where they look for a little extra time to get up towards the front end and start taking these races to Brad Watson, because if he's going to continue a 30-second finishing time ahead of the entire field, will get a little bit boring for himself. But I mean, the guys that obviously run in this series now, they know what they're looking for, and will continue to do so. Tobias, I think, we'll definitely see marked improvement come next round if he's on the grid. Anthony will also have another good showing. So, yeah, there's a few guys that are going to be disappointed, but they'll work extremely hard next week and the coming races to get back up the front.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to Lime Rock to see how GTEs go on that track. I think it's going to be action aplenty. That's my prediction.
Oh, for sure. It'll be very similar to what we saw with Mosport. It's a very small bull ring style circuit, a lot of elevation changes. Obviously, we know when you get up over the crest, you tend to get a little bit of airborne, so that's going to be interesting to see how the guys manage that and set their cars up accordingly.
Yeah, definitely, and of course you can tune in, Daniel, if you can, and you can watch the action and see how it unfolds.
I'll be there with bells on, mate, don't worry about that.
Yeah, fantastic. And, well, folks, that's pretty much the end of our broadcast. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for joining us, and everyone from iRacing Live who joined us through that feed. I really appreciate you viewing it. I hope you did enjoy tonight's race, because I definitely enjoyed calling it alongside of Daniel Leet and Weehan Chan here. But anyway, folks, hopefully we'll catch up again with you Monday night. If you like your V8 Supercar action, though, don't forget next Friday night is the Australian Online Supercar Championship, and we're in for another big action pack there. If you missed last Friday night, last night, go and check the replay. It was quite a good race. But until we meet again, folks, I hope you have a good weekend. On behalf of Daniel Leet and Wee Han Chan, I'm Bernie Weemers, and I'd like to say good night.